What's going on, guys? 2021 has shaped up to be a pretty good year for movies with all things considered. But today, in no particular order, we're going to be looking ahead at my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2022. This is just my personal list, so let me know in the comments below what movie you're looking forward to the most in the upcoming year. Starting the list off strong, the first one we're going to be talking about is The Northman. This one's directed by Robert Eggers, the beautiful mind behind The Lighthouse and The Witch. I didn't go absolutely crazy for The Lighthouse like some people, but I thought The Witch was an awesome little period piece of a horror film. This next one is described as an epic revenge thriller that explores how far a Viking prince will go to avenge his murdered father. I'm super interested in this one because this is a genre we have never seen Eggers explore before. In this new frontier mixed with his distinct visual style could result in something really special. And I didn't even tell you the best part yet. This cast is stacked. Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe. I mean, come on. The next movie up on the list is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the heavily awaited sequel to the critically acclaimed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Not only is it one of the best superhero movies ever made, it's also one of the best animated movies ever made too. It just seemed like it came out of nowhere and nobody expected it to be as funny, thrilling, and wholesome as the end result ended up being. It's also crazy that due to the overwhelmingly positive fan reception to this movie, it's clearly influencing Marvel to take on more risks and unique storylines. This is most evident with the upcoming live action entry of the web slinger, Spider-Man No Way Home. But when it comes to the animated franchise, we don't really know what to expect with this upcoming sequel. We don't have a plot, and the directors are different this time around. But when you see the amount of care and detail put into the first entry, it's easy to be optimistic that they're gonna stay true to the source material and deliver us another fan favorite. There is no animated movie I'm looking forward to more right now than Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The next movie up on the list is Ambulance. That's right, the Michael Bay film. Now, I know you're gonna think that I put this one on my list by accident, but hear me out. When you think of Michael Bay, you obviously think of these big budget and explosion-filled movies like Bad Boys and Transformers. But when he tones it down, ditches his usual cliches, and has a smaller budget to work with, he can surprise you. Anyone that knows me personally knows that a huge guilty pleasure movie for me is Pain and Gain, and that I think it's one of the most entertaining movies of the 2010s. This one is about two bank robbers commandeering an ambulance, holding its passengers hostage, and using it as a getaway vehicle. To add to the anticipation, this one is starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Yahya Abdul-Mateen, two guys leading the charge in a small group of actors for me who produce projects that are an automatic watch if they're associated with them. I don't care what the movie is, if they're in it, I'm checking it out. They have shown countless times that they have fantastic acting chops and have proven that they know how to pick interesting projects to work on. I'm just looking for a mindless, wild ride here, and I'm pretty sure Jake Gyllenhaal plus Yahya Abdul-Mateen plus Michael Bay is a pretty simple equation to give me that end result. The next movie up on the list is The Black Phone. In this one, we get to see Ethan Hawke and director Scott Derrickson team up again after working on Sinister together, which is one of the main reasons I'm pumped for this one. I have seen every horror movie under the sun, and very rarely do they scare me, but Sinister? That one left an effect on me. This one is based on a short story by Stephen King's son, and it reminds me a lot of the horror video game At Dead of Night. It's set in the 70s where a serial killer is snatching up kids left and right. Our main character gets kidnapped, and where he's being held hostage, he finds a disconnected phone on the wall that actually transmits the voices of the serial killer's victims. And these voices try to help this character escape. It's a great concept, and I think it's going to translate really well to the film medium. I love the trailer for this one, but I think they might have shown just a little too much in it. This is one of those movies that relies heavily on its plot hook, and I definitely think it's on display too frequently in the trailer here. I know I'm hyping this one up a lot, but you might want to try and avoid the trailer for this one if you can. The next film we're going to be talking about is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So I feel like the first Doctor Strange gets tossed aside a little bit, but I really enjoyed it when it came out and was looking forward to his next standalone. Not to mention the man behind the camera this time around is Sam Raimi, the guy who gave us, in my opinion, the best superhero movie ever made in Spider-Man 2, and a lot of other high-quality films as well. We've heard rumors that this Doctor Strange entry will have a lot of horror elements in it as well, which I would be super pumped to see. We already know Sam Raimi can handle that with ease after seeing movies like The Evil Dead, which is a horror classic, and we already know he can handle the superhero subject matter effortlessly. So I think he is the perfect choice to lead us through the next chapter of Stephen Strange's story. His talents behind the camera, mixed with Benedict Cumberbatch always bringing his A-game, has me very optimistic. And who knows, maybe we even get a little Scarlet Witch team up in this one too. The next movie up on the list is John Wick Chapter 4. The next entry in one of the most exciting and addicting action franchises of recent memory. What's crazy to think about is that the first John Wick was basically an indie film. It had a budget of only $20 million, and since then it has only picked up steam since audiences have gotten on board with what Keanu Reeves has delivered to us. The first entry grossed $86 million. The second entry grossed $170 million. And the third entry grossed a whopping $327 million. It's very clear that audiences are clamoring for more of the one-man army that is John Wick, and Chapter 4 is set up to be his biggest outing yet. There has been a lot of speculation and rumors swirling around about a possible title and shooting locations, and what I'm hearing right now is that the movie largely takes place in Japan. This is all my opinion, but John Wick facing off against some kind of samurai crime syndicate is something I'm buying tickets for opening night. Or who knows, maybe we'll get to see their version of the Continental Hotel, which would be great because the subtle world building and the rules of this universe are what set John Wick apart from the run-of-the-mill action flick. I feel like people say this a lot, but I'm almost positive this fourth entry will be bigger, better, and bloodier. The next one up on the list is Nope, the third horror installment from the mind of Jordan Peele. Not much is actually known about this one yet, but I don't need to know much to get excited about it. Jordan Peele surprised everyone when Get Out was released, and I consider it a modern horror classic in my mind. I wasn't as keen on Us, but it showed his refined eye and dealt with ambitious ideas. In this new horror entry, the cast is backed by Daniel Kaluuya, Steven Yeun, and Keke Palmer. There have been some rumors that since he's teaming up with Daniel Kaluuya again, that this movie might end up being an indirect sequel to Get Out. I personally don't think that will be the case, and I also don't really want that to be the case. I look at this the same way I look at those rumors about Tarantino revisiting Kill Bill. He's always claimed that he's only ever making 10 films, so I'd rather have one last twisted and original story from him than reopening a finished work. But regardless of all that, I think we're in store for another poignant and shocking horror entry from Jordan Peele. Next one up on the list is The Batman. This one needs no explanation. The hype for this one is already through the roof after the last trailer dropped, but I'll give one anyway. Ever since Good Time came out in 2017, people are finally starting to realize the acting powerhouse that is Robert Pattinson. He's killed everything that he's been in for the past 5 years or so. The supporting cast here is a dream come true. Zoe Kravitz and Colin Farrell are always really solid, and Paul Dano has sneaky become one of the best actors working today. When it comes to the past films of Matt Reeves, our director here, I've always really enjoyed Cloverfield and thought he did a very good job with his remake of Let the Right One In. And his contributions to the Planet of the Apes trilogy were always entertaining. I'm excited to see him jump into this world of the Caped Crusader, and I think the most recent trailer is already one of the best movie trailers of all time, and I need it to be March already so I can see this film. The next one up on the list is Mission Impossible 7. After the last installment of the series, Mission Impossible Fallout, I don't think it's possible to not be hyped up for this one. Somehow, Tom Cruise has constructed this action series that actually keeps getting better as it goes on. Mission Impossible 1 and 3 were solid, but I thought 2 and 4 were a little lacking, making me think the staying power of the series was dying out a bit. And then 2018 came around, and Tom Cruise delivered up possibly one of the best action movies ever made in Mission Impossible Fallout. Longtime Tom Cruise collaborator Steve McQuarrie is back to direct this one again. fan. And as always, you have your rock-solid supporting cast of Rebecca Ferguson, Simon Pegg, and Ving Rhames. These movies stopped taking themselves seriously about a decade ago, and it was the best decision this franchise could have made going forward. It's movies like these that restore your faith in the summer blockbuster, and I have no reason to believe it'll be any different with this high-octane, one-of-a-kind spy series. The next movie up on the list is Thor: Love and Thunder. How could you not be excited for this one? Taika Waititi took a character who, after the first two Thor movies, I liked watching the least in the entire MCU, and turned him into an absolute powerhouse. It's a classic example of someone coming in and just knowing what this character needed. Ragnarok is such a departure from the previous Thor movies because it doesn't take itself too seriously, and it embraces the ridiculousness the MCU has to offer. It's one of the most fun times I've had in a theater, and it's probably in my top 3 MCU movies of all time. So I know I'm already setting sky-high expectations for this one. But if they approach this one with the same amount of surprising comedy, emotional depth, and visual style, I think we'll be alright. Not to mention you're getting the return of Natalie Portman, and adding Christian Bale, Russell Crowe, and some of the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, which seems like a pretty winning combination to me from where I'm sitting. My favorite aspect in recent MCU entries has been the two-hero dynamic that they've been doing. I just think it lends itself well to a solid narrative arc and makes it feel more lived in. We've seen it work so well with Cap and Black Widow, Thor and Hulk, Spider-Man and Iron Man, that I'm actually kind of hoping for a Thor and Star-Lord movie here. So that finishes off my list of the top 10 most anticipated movies of 2022. Let me know your own personal list in the comments below. And if you like talking movies, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so that I know you enjoy this type of content. And I'll see you guys at the next video.